Hi, my name is Divya, and I'm one of the first-year rheumatology fellows here at Boston Medical Center, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what it's like to live here in Boston and the New England area in general. I was actually born and brought up in Massachusetts, and I was here until school, and then ultimately came back for residency not too far from Boston, so I spent quite some time exploring what this area has to offer. I would say the best part about living in Boston is the fact that we're in the New England area and we get to enjoy the beautiful four seasons, as well as we're in close proximity to other states nearby. My favorite top spots in New England include Rhode Island, which is about an hour drive from here, and it has the Waterfire Festival in the summer and great food options. You also have Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard in the summer, great beaches, good for biking, and to get to Martha's, you can take a ferry, which is about 45 minutes, so great for a weekend getaway. And there's also Vermont and New Hampshire, places like Stowe, Killington, which are great for hiking in the fall, and also great skiing spots in the winter. In addition, in the fall, there's also Maine, which is about 4.5 hour drive to get to Acadia, which is a top spot for hiking and to enjoy the fall foliage. And as a plus, there's also great seafood, so good for lobster rolls, crabs. And then in addition, in winter, there's also a good skiing spot here in Massachusetts, which is the Berkshires, which is about 2 hours. So again, all these places are in such close proximity, so you can just go for a quick weekend trip or getaway. And in addition to the New England states, New York is pretty close. You can just take the train out of Boston or drive there, which is about 3.5 hours to 4 hours. So a lot of things to do in and around Boston. And then coming to Boston, which is great for sports fans, food lovers. It's a great city to live in, plenty of things to do. So for the sports fans out there, we have the Celtics for basketball, the Bruins for hockey, as well as baseball fans, the Red Sox. And they play at TD Garden, Fenway Park, which is pretty close here, about 1.5 to 2 miles from here. And then for food, it's also a great place. You have Chinatown, which is a quick walk, or you can take the bus from here. And they have great food at all times, and it's always up and popping. And then a 25-minute to 30-minute bus, you can get over to Cambridge, Harvard, where they have Harvard, of course, as well as MIT. There's also great food there, and then book places, so good bookstores for all our avid readers. In addition, we also have Seaport, which is close by to Boston. So it's the waterfront. Again, great restaurants, good for walking, especially in the spring, summer, and fall. So a lot of things to do around Boston. And then coming to where Boston Medical Center is located. So this is in the South End. So there are a lot of residents and fellows who live here because you can just walk to Boston Medical Center in about 5 to 10 minutes. But it's a little more on the pricier side. But there's also a lot of fellows or residents who live in other places like Jamaica Plain, great for families, a little more affordable. There's also West Roxbury, you have Brighton, there's Somerville or Dorchester. I live a little bit far, but again, I drive in, which is about half an hour, and it's not too bad as well. In addition to pretty much the apartments, cost of living here, the food is great in the South End. There's a lot of good Italian food, Asian food, and Indian food as well. It's really easy to commute in and around here. We have the T, you can bike here. There's a lot of residents who bike as well. In addition, if you want to get out of Boston, go to the West Coast or anywhere, the Logan Airport, it's close by. It's only 4 miles from Boston Medical Center. So it's pretty easy to get in and around Boston and also other parts of the country, out of country, etc. So overall, I would say Boston's an amazing place to live during fellowship. If you like sports, food, enjoy walking, the four seasons, great place to enjoy and live. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in Boston soon.
This is Eva. I'm one of the rising second-year fellows here at Boston Medical Center Rheumatology. I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about our consult service here at BMC. On the consult service, on any given day, you'll see on average about 1 to 2 new patients, but that can range from 0 new patients all the way to 4 or 5 new patients on any given day. Your consult service list typically is about 4 to 10 patients long. So overall, a decent patient load that you'll be following. We see a variety of different patient cases here at the hospital, so anything from vasculitis or complex lupus cases to more bread and butter gout or joint aspiration types of cases. So you really see a wide range of different diseases during your time on the consult service. In terms of first year coverage, so specifically during the summer of your first year, you'll be on the consult service with the other first year fellows. So you share consult service coverage with that other fellow, which is nice. Gives you some time to learn the ropes, to learn about a new hospital system before you're in charge of seeing consults on your own. During that first year summer, the second year fellows are the ones covering nights and weekends as well. So that gives you weekends free to get settled in a new city or study for your internal medicine boards, which is a big perk, which is nice. In terms of nights and weekends coverage for the rest of the year, the 4 fellows split that coverage evenly, and then you decide at the beginning of the year amongst yourselves which weekends you want to work or which weekends you want to have free during the year. So you decide that together. And then for nights and weekend coverage, you're on pager coverage service, so it means that you only get paged if there's an urgent issue overnight, which doesn't happen very often. And then on the weekends, on average, I'd say you only have to go in once to see maybe 1 or 2 new consults on the weekend. Very rarely will you have to go in on both Saturday and Sunday for the weekends that you're on service. When you are covering nights and weekends, we also usually combine that with VA pager coverage as well. So we cover the pager system for West Roxbury and Jamaica Plain VAs on the weekends only and nights. We don't need to cover their consult service during the daytime. That's usually covered by a general medicine consult service. So if you do get a page about a VA patient on the weekend, you just contact the VA rheumatologist who's on service and you decide on a time to meet to see that new patient together. And I'd say overall, pretty infrequently do you get paged about a VA patient. So it's definitely not every weekend that you're on service that you get a VA call. So not too bad. Overall, I'd say that the consult service has been a pretty good experience. I've seen a variety of really interesting patient cases. There's been some really great learning on the consult service. So I think it's been a good experience overall. So I hope that you join us here at BMC, and we will see you on the interview trail.
Hi everyone, my name is Bakdir Manji. Today I'm going to talk to you about preparing presentations as a fellow. So throughout the fellowship, the fellows prepare different type of presentations aiming different aspects of our training, and I will talk about different type of talks and their impact on our education today. The first one is something called clinical rounds, which is what you are responsible to do when you are the consult fellow. So that's something that usually first year fellows do. It's usually an hour or an hour and 30 minutes talk, and we discuss the cases that we see in the consult service, or sometimes we bring some interesting cases from our continuity clinics. And what this allows is basically it allows us to review the relevant literature, dig deeply to the diseases that we are encountering, and also hear the different rheumatology attendings' perspectives and their kind of approaches. And sometimes, hearing and witnessing that kind of different opinions real time really kind of builds kind of a clinical approach in us. So I find them very helpful. The second one is something called X-ray rounds. So throughout the year, we bring interesting X-rays to our weekly didactics. And then, our attendings vote for the best X-ray of the week. This basically allows us to keep looking at our own X-rays, review the findings, and not rely on the radiologist readings. And basically it just augments our weekly X-ray teaching didactics. The third one is journal clubs. So every fellow is doing 2 journal clubs per year, and then they are distributed equally between fellows. And then we tend to review different methodologies, different study designs, and pros and cons. We are lucky to have an amazing people with a great epidemiology background, and then both clinical and basic science research backgrounds. So they basically become our mentors for these talks. So we review the papers with all division together. So it, I think, really adds to our learning about the different methodologies and different study designs. The last 2 is room derm and room pharmacy. Room derm, we do again also 2 presentations per year, divided equally between fellows. And we basically match with a dermatology resident, and we discuss topics that we both see, like lupus or myositis or psoriatic arthritis. So, and then I think it's really helpful because you get to see their perspectives and how they think about when they see our diseases, and then their kind of non-rheumatic differentials. So I think that's really helpful to get their perspectives. And this lecture series are supervised by a rheumatology and dermatology attending closely, so we get their feedback before we present. And lastly, we have something called room pharmacy lectures. We look at different biologics and non-biologics anti-rheumatic drugs. We review their mechanism of action, which can be very helpful for the board prep. We also review their use, FDA indications, and then starting from this year, we are planning to review their costs to be better informed while making treatment decisions for our patients. So all in all, I think they all target different aspects of our education, and throughout these 2 years, we tend to present on different topics, and we tend to hear our co-fellows presenting on different topics. So I think that really augments our training.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason Yang. I'm one of the rheumatology fellows here at Boston Medical Center. Thank you for checking out our program. Let me show you around about the fellows room and tell you a little bit more about some of the workspaces that we have. All right, here we are on the 5th floor inside the medical school building. This is where our offices are, and also the offices for our administrative support staff, as well as the lab space for the Arthritis Research Center. And if you have a very nice view of the Boston skyline in the background there, and if we take a few steps over, we'll come check out the fellows workroom real quick. So here we are. It's a pretty spacious office with 4 computers and 4 phones, so we each get one. It's a very nice area where we can sort of hang out and do some extra chart review or finishing up charting on patients that we've seen during the day. And then we also typically have a portable ultrasound here as well, which is currently in use, but this way during our conference time or during some of the Friday morning lectures for the second years, they will use this, the portable ultrasound, to kind of do some of the additional training for the ultrasound curriculum. And yeah, it's a very nice area to hang out, and let me grab my seat and to tell you a little more about some of the tools and infrastructure we have. All right, so that was a brief overview of our workspace here in the medical school. I also want to tell you about our workspace inside the Shapiro Ambulatory Care Center. So that's where all of the subspecialty clinics, as well as the some of the other outpatient clinics reside. And our clinic, the rheumatology clinic, is on the 8th floor there. There's a fantastic suite of exam rooms, several ultrasounds where we can practice our ultrasound skills, as well as a large work area where we sit right next to the attendings to talking about patient care or just to hang out and learn from them. So it's a very nice space. What's really also great about that location is the dermatology department is right next door to the rheumatology department on the same floor. So oftentimes we'll just walk a few steps over to chat with some of the attendings and fellows there to discuss a mutual patient that we share. We also run our multidisciplinary clinic through that format where we have patients that see dermatology and ourselves and our nephrology colleagues will come over as well, which is fantastic care, but also fantastic training environment. And finally, both the clinical support staff, our pharmacy staff, as well as our office administrative staff here are just fantastic and phenomenal at what they do and really makes our day-to-day sort of training and jobs much easier, which is very much appreciated. What's really nice about the Boston University Medical School as well as the Boston Medical Center is that we do have off-campus access to the suite of resources offered by the library here so that you can look online, check out different articles, and also remote access in if you need to look at any files that you need. So that just makes life a lot easier if you don't have direct access. So hopefully over the last few minutes, we've gotten a chance to meet all of the fellows currently and got to learn what it's like to be a fellow here. This is really a fantastic place to train and I've really enjoyed my time here so far. And we hope to see you next year. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to us or to Alice or Dr. Kissen, and we'll be happy to answer them. And best of luck in your interviews. Bye.